Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. For today's video, we are going to go through an article titled Every NBA Team's Most Glaring Weakness Right Now. So, of course, being at the end of free agency and now really the beginning of the NBA season within like a little more than a month now, you really do hope that after free agency that you fill all the weaknesses and the holes of your team, but a lot of the times you kind of got to be picky and choosy out there because there's only a certain amount of players that are going to be able to do a certain thing for your team, and there's 29 other NBA teams competing with yours trying to get those guys out there, man. So more times than not, you cannot fix all your problems. You just hope to either patch up some things or make it not look as bad as what it really could possibly be, man. And a lot of that stuff gets exposed, like, in the playoffs and stuff like that. But here we go, man. I'm going to hope to tell you guys ways that I hope that these teams can fix it along the way. We'll see how that all goes. Also, if you guys can please do me a quick favor and drop a like on this video. Really appreciate the help, man. When you guys do that, it really does help to grow the channel a lot. So thank you guys all so much for that. And here we go. So the first team we have is the Cleveland Cavaliers lack of wings. So yeah, it's like they have Jetty Osman. He's fine. I see him more as like a role player on a really good team. But I also like Dylan Windler, I believe is what his name is. He should be okay like in the future, but he's probably a few seasons away. So one trade I would absolutely love this team to make to kind of fix this situation is a trade of Kevin Love over to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Nazir Little and Hassan Whiteside, something like that. Now, I'm not sure if Portland would want to absolutely do that, but from the Cleveland Cavaliers standpoint, you get rid of Kevin Love's contract, Hassan Whiteside's expiring, and then, of course, you get Nazir Little, who is a very defensive-oriented rookie, to team up with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, which we think that they're probably going to have some defensive issues. So I think Nazir would definitely help that out a lot and give them some wing depth. Next up, we got the New York Knicks inexperienced wings. So yeah, this team has a ton of like power forwards and like kind of like some tweeners out there too. Like Bobby Portis, does he play center? Does he play power forward? Taj Gibson, power forward or center? Now one guy I see probably spending a lot of time at the small forward position outside of Kevin Knox would actually be Marcus Morris. I know Marcus Morris played that position a lot on the Detroit Pistons, a few seasons ago. For the most part in the Boston Celtics, he played more of the 4 spot, but I know he can play both. You probably want him more at the 4 because, when you put him at that 3, you lose some mobility with Marcus doing that, man. But, they have pieces out there. It's just they're not going to be playing their most optimal position. Next, wow, this is disrespectful, man. We got the Charlotte Hornets. Number one weakness is the point guard position. So, of course, their big signing this season this offseason was a 3-year, $56.7 million contract. So, I'm sorry, but that is not their biggest weakness. Like, it is their most scary weakness. I don't want to say weakness, man, but just like unknowing. It's just like we don't really know what Terry Rozier is gonna be like on this team, man. So it's just like the unknowing is kind of probably not a great feeling for Charlotte Hornet fans, but no, they got way other weaknesses out there, man. Center position, not great. Malik Monk, what is he exactly? Miles Bridges, is he going to take off one of these, sooner rather than later? We'll see about all that, man, but no, definitely not Terry Rozier being the biggest weakness of this team. The Atlanta Hawks, biggest thing would be defense. Yes, definitely, although I will say I think that DeAndre Hunter is going to help that out a bit. Now, rookies playing defense, I mean, it always does take like a little bit for them to really get going out there. I think the biggest issue is going to be sometimes though is, like what type of lineup are they going to be running exactly? Because, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, you want those guys to be part of the team. But for the most part, the point guard and shooting guard spot's pretty much locked up because I would say Kevin Huerter deserves that shooting guard spot. And then it's like you really don't want John Collins playing center, but you almost need him to if you want, Cam and DeAndre to be out there at the same time also. So I don't know, man. I do think that defense can be a big issue for them out there. Alex Len is like, he's Alex Len. So, yeah, one way to fix this, I think I talked about this in a previous video. I would really like to see them go out there and try to get like Miles Turner. I think they definitely got some young players that they can make an enticing offer over to the Pacers to do so. For the Memphis Grizzlies, the biggest issue being shooting. Yeah, John Morant, I mean, we don't really know what he's going to be like shooting in the NBA. Dylan Brooks is like okay. Kyle Anderson's not great. Jaren Jackson can knock down Brandon Clark, not really a 3-point shooter at all. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting bit of a struggle for them. As much as I think John Morant could win Rookie of the Year, I do think this team as a whole is going to struggle though. Next up, okay, we got 25 through 21. So we got the Washington Wizards with depth. I mean, they got the great Isaiah Thomas. It's just the big issue with that is like, if John Wall was on the team, then it's like, all right, you kind of have more of a stability and identity of what you want to do with the squad and stuff like that, man. But he's going to be out probably for the entire season. So, yeah, this Washington Wizards season, I don't see Bradley Beal ending up on the roster by the end of the year, man. Like, I really see the Washington Wizards seeing this as an issue, realizing that outside Rui Hachimura, they don't really, I guess Thomas Bryant too, they also got Troy Brown Jr. listed there too, man. The team doesn't really have much of a future right now, man. Like the financial flexibility just isn't there. So it's almost like you have to trade Bradley Beal if you don't think you're going to win a championship with him on the Washington Wizards. Come on, man, it's the goal in the end of the day, right? So with Beal, you can kind of go out there and you can trade for a really good young guy, maybe a few veteran pieces, some more depth, maybe some picks, and kind of, just go all in with the rebuild. I really think they need to do that. Next up, we got the Phoenix Suns being shooting as their main issue. Yeah, I thought losing TJ Warren was a big hit right there. I do like Dario Saric. He'll be interesting on that squad, playing the 4 spot. Devin Booker's a fine shooter. Ricky Rubio is not as bad as he used to be. DeAndre Ayton, I see him as more of a playing on the inside type of center. But yeah, it's really going to come down to like the bench being able to come in and do some things out there, knock down the shots and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very, very curious to see what the Phoenix Suns are like this year. I have no idea, guys. I literally have no idea. Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, they could be fine. We got the Sacramento Kings, big issue playing defense. I do think Dwayne Dedmon helps them out actually quite a bit right there. It's going to come down to how much they want to see Marvin Bagley play the center position, which, I don't know, man. Marvin Bagley is just such I see the potential right there, but I kind of have him in that same realm as John Collins. Where I love John Collins on the Hawks. I like him at the 4. I don't like him at the 5. Marvin Bagley, I like him at the 4. I don't know if I like him at the 5 very much, so that can be very concerning. De'Aaron Fox, nice. Buddy Hield, more of a scoring guard, and then Harrison Barnes, he can kind of play both ways as a wing player. We got the OKC Thunder being depth. Well, yeah, for now, but give it a few seasons, and after you guys use one of your 20 billion draft picks, the depth will be fine on this team. But yeah, once again, it's gonna come down to the shooting guard spots. Getting Roberson back helps. Doesn't really help them exactly where you want them to, and that is offense off the bench. Yeah, I think the OKC Thunder probably in for not a great season, man. Really not in for a great season, and CP3 will probably be gone by the trade deadline. We got the Chicago Bulls' biggest issue being rebounding. Yeah, I don't got too much to say about that, man. I really don't know how Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter are as rebounders. I'm sure they'll be fine. Thaddeus Young is more of a, I don't know, he's not really going to be crashing the boards. That's not exactly what he does out there. So, but I mean, they should be they should help out enough there, man. I don't know. I don't really know much about the rebounding situation. I didn't really watch a lot of Bulls basketball last season. So you guys let me know. Do you think this is a big time issue for the Bulls? Next up, we got the Detroit Pistons being shooting. Yeah, it really always comes down to that for the team out there, man. Luke Kennard, best three-point shooter on their squad at 41%. Blake Griffin, of course, had a career year shooting the 3-ball. Reggie Jackson, serviceable enough. Derrick Rose, while last year I hope was not just an anomaly, and because I know Derrick Rose early on in his career was not really a great 3-point shooter, but he seems to have turned things around a little bit right there. It's going to come down to that small forward position. Bruce Brown, not really going to give me much offense. Sekou Doumbouya, no idea what he's going to be like yet. So, yeah, I would love to see them pull off another one of those Wayne Ellington type of moves where they just go out there and get some, get a Courtney Lee or somebody like that, a veteran that's just kind of there. Actually, Courtney Lee might actually be on an NBA roster, but I'm sure the Pistons can probably get him for pretty cheap. Timberwolves, we have biggest issue being defense. Yeah, I don't like Jeff Teague as a starting point guard anymore. I got a feeling he's going to get cooked by some of these guys out there, bro. Robert Covington, obviously, is one of the best 3-and-D players in freaking NBA history. Andrew Wiggins, I think, has the tools to be a better defender. I just don't know if he really wants to be. Josh Okogie, he's a nice defensive guy. Jordan Bell, I just don't like Jordan Bell on this team in general alongside Karl Anthony Towns. Cat actually got better defensively last year, man. He was actually not a bad defender, so I would say perimeter defense more so than anything. But even that, Robert Covington's going to help out in that department. The San Antonio Spurs, 3-point volume. So they are definitely a more of a traditional mid-range post-up type of team. And you kind of have to be when you're, two best players, LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. Both great, NBA players and stuff. It's just their style of play is very old school. LaMarcus Aldridge, I thought for a minute there was going to become more of a stretch big, but he just doesn't really commit to that. His three-point shooting's not great. And DeMar DeRozan, while he can be a 20-point per game scorer, it's not going to be by shooting the 3-ball, man. So it's a team like that, especially being coached by Greg Popovich, it's always going to be out there as a team that can get to the playoffs. When you have Greg Popovich coaching a team, you can get to the playoffs. It's just a matter of, how deep do these Spurs fans want to go and stuff. It's if you're okay with just making the playoffs, okay, your team's fine. But if not, yeah, you definitely have to get up with the times. Brooklyn Nets, we got lack of a number 2. I actually think this is going to be a good thing for the Brooklyn Nets this season, guys. I actually think it's going to be a strength for this team, man, because Kevin Durant's not going to be around this season. So, Kyrie Irving, the number 1 guy. But guess what? Somebody is going to have to step up, have that be Joe Harris. I actually get my vote. Well, there's actually 2 guys I really think could step up, and that is Karis LeVert or Taurean Prince. I feel like either one of those guys, if not both, could definitely really step up and put up career numbers. So, which is great because, you know, those guys are doing that, and then Kevin Durant comes back, and all of a sudden you have a third option that was playing like a number 2 option for the entire NBA season the year before. So, yeah, I think it can actually be a strength. Unless you know, Net fans thought that they were going to win a championship without Kyrie Irving, then yes, that'd be an issue. New Orleans Pelicans being the issue of shooting. Yeah, JJ Redick definitely helps that out. It's just like, but how exactly do you run like your most optimal lineup? Because do you want JJ playing with Drew Holiday? If that's the case, then Drew Holiday has to play the point guard spot, which he really doesn't want to do anymore. Of course, you got Lonzo out there. He can definitely run with JJ Redick and find him some nice looks off screen, so that could be interesting. Ingram is an okay enough 3-point shooter. I'm still not like a huge fan of the Derek Favors at center is fine. It's just like, I would have liked them to get somebody that could shoot the 3 ball a little bit. I know Derek Favors has been working on it a little bit, but not to the point where it's going to be like lethal or anything like that. Would have loved to see him to get like Brook Lopez. That would have been an absolutely perfect fit. Next up, we got 15 through 11. So we got the Miami Heat, lack of a number 2. And this is the team that I do think will fix this by making a trade for Bradley Beal and maybe even taking on John Wall's contract. I think what is going to happen is this Heat team, Jimmy Butler is going to put up crazy numbers. He's going to do it because Jimmy Butler. But having the lack of the other guys out there is really going to hurt the man. Like, Justice Winslow could be nice. I don't know how he is alongside Jimmy Butler, though. Like, that might be a little bit of an awkward fit. So it's like Goran Dragic. He's like 33, 34 now, always injury prone. So yeah, I see Jimmy Butler getting fed up and be like, yo, go out there in the trade deadline, give me some other players. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Next up, we got the Portland Trailblazers with their defense. Kind of disagree with this one right here. Nazir Little's going to help that out a bit. Despite being a rookie, he'll still be a fine defender. Like, defense is something you can't really teach, man. You either got it or you don't. And they lost Enes Kanter, who was a defensive liability, replaced him with Hassan Whiteside, who looks pretty motivated, man. I've been watching some footage of him, and he's looking pretty motivated out there. So, yeah, and then, like, Damian and CJ, we kind of know what they're like as defenders at this point. I would have loved for them to get, like, Alfred Camino back, but at the same time, they got, like, Zach Collins. And Zach Collins, very underrated defender, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks with 3-point shooting. Yeah, I don't have any idea. Do they have Seth Curry, right? What team has Seth Curry now? I completely forgot, man. But regardless, like, Jalen Brunson, DeLon Wright, let's say, no, I guess you would probably go DeLon Wright running the point guard spot, Tim Hardaway at the 2, Luka Doncic at the 3, and probably run it with that. And like DeLon Wright, not really a great 3-point shooter. Tim Hardaway, a very streaky guy out there. Luka Doncic, it's like he can definitely make it himself, but you wouldn't call Luka a 3-point specialist. Kristaps can help it out a bit right there. But yeah, I would like to see them go out there, maybe get some more depth that can bring the spacing. Indiana Pacers, lack of number 1. I mean, Victor's gone for now. When he'll be back, that will fix itself in time. In the meantime, you're going to see that Indiana Pacers style of basketball where it's just a really big-time team effort. I mean, come on, man. Bojan Bogdanovic last season averaged like 20 points per game. He's a good player. Nobody was really seeing that coming, right? So I very well could see maybe a Malcolm Brogdon really just reach that next tier as an NBA player, or Jeremy Lamb, doing his thing out there. TJ Warren, when healthy, can be a 20-point per game scorer, man. So I think they'll be okay. It's going to be a team effort, though. Orlando Magic shot selection. Well, this just kind of comes down to coaching, right? I mean, I don't got too much to say about that. Like, that's the coach's job to find the right shots and put guys in the right situations, via play call. We got the Toronto Raptors, lack of number 1 option. I mean, Pascal Siakam, you're either going to see, like, within that first 2 months of the season that he has that ability for the number 1 option, or you're going to be like, okay, Pascal Siakam is a great number 2, not a great number 1. A prime example of that is Kyrie Irving. Like, Kyrie Irving, I'm going to love him, playing alongside Durant. I loved him alongside LeBron James. Did not like him on Boston. So, yeah, it's going to be the same circumstance here. And, I mean, you still got, like, Kyle Lowry, but you wouldn't really call him a number 1 option anymore. I very well could see them trading Lowry away eventually and starting to, like, do, like, a new rebuild along Pascal Siakam. Next up, we got the Boston Celtics interior defense. Guys, mark my words on this. This is a bit of a reach, but I do think Robert Williams is going to have like a Mitchell Robinson type of year. You know how Mitchell Robinson just came out of the Knicks and started, decided to be one of the best shot blockers in the NBA? I think Robert Williams is going to do that. He's really going to help out in the interior. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up starting by the end of the NBA season. Like, Enes Kanter, I think, starts, but eventually works his way into like a six-man role like he did on Portland. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Lakers backcourt depth. I mean, you might want to say good backcourt depth. Now, you got to remember this. LeBron James, Anthony Davis on this team. When you have LeBron James can win damn championships for Mario Chalmers, guys. So really, if they just go out there, like I think Quinn Cook is going to be the Mario Chalmers of this team, and I think he ends up being the starting point guard by the end of the season, man. Now Alex Caruso, I think he's got some I don't want to say star potential, but he's got some great role player potential. He definitely has that. Rondo, we know we get out of him at this point, so he's either hit or miss as a player. But and you got KCP, Avery Bradley, veterans at least, right? Next up, we got the Utah Jazz backup point guard. Yes, please go out there and get somebody to back up Mike Conley. Dante Exum, I wish the best for you. But the big time issue is that this team has a window. And it's a very small window, man. Like, Mike Conley is not like the youngest guy out there, right? And like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Waiters already got paid. Donovan Mitchell want to get paid eventually. Like, they don't got like the youngest squad. Like, they got young players like Mitchell and Gobert, but that's about it, man. So it's like you want to go out there and you just want to get somebody that you can trust at that 2 spot. And I think one guy that would be a good choice and would actually be able to mentor Dante Exum to use his height as the point guard spot, Shaun Livingston. Nobody has Shaun Livingston right now. Why not pick him up? He's got championship experience. What's that, guys? My phone is ringing. Okay, my bad. Golden State Warriors, perimeter defense. Yes. Not going to lie, man. I could see the Warriors being like bottom 10 of the NBA in defense this season. And that's despite having Draymond Green. Like, Draymond really called his sign. Front court's going to be good. But I got a feeling D'Lo and Curry, they're going to get cooked, man. Especially also not having, like, Klay Thompson out there, who's one of the best perimeter defensive players in the entire NBA. And losing Iguodala. Like, yeah, they're in for a rough adjustment. We got the Los Angeles Clippers being health. You can say that with any NBA team. Like, I know this team, like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George have had, like, their own injury issues out there. But really, any team, health can be a big-time thing, right? I mean, these guys could both very well go out there and play 82 games. It's like you really don't ever truly know that. So if that's your biggest weakness, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. Denver Nuggets, we got the lack of traditional wings. Yeah, it appears that you might see some Jeremy Grant playing some 3 this season. So that's interesting. I like him more as a 4. Will Barton, I like Will Barton more as a shooting guard more than a 3 these days. If I'm being quite honest about that, Michael Porter could definitely just go out there and just save this team by being amazing his rookie season. And then, of course, you got like Torrey Craig, who I think does okay at the 3 spot. Philadelphia 76ers lack of shooting. You lose J.J. Redick. That's going to hit you a lot. Now, I think Josh Richardson is going to do fine shooting 3s. I think Al Horford is going to be better than people think. And I think Tobias Harris, despite kind of tapering off towards the end of last season, really once he was traded away from the Clippers, is in for a bounce-back season shooting too. It's like maybe the bench unit you would probably say is the big issue, but you can really fix that by just going out there and making a trade or signing a few free agents. Like shooting, you can definitely find guys out there that can knock down a 3-point shot and help you with spacing. Houston Rockets, only 1 basketball. Man, let's just see how they play, okay? Let's not judge these guys like this. Like, yes, there's only 1 basketball, but don't make it work. They both got talent. I'm not even going to, like, really acknowledge this one. And then finally, we got the Milwaukee Bucks losing some shooting out there. I think Malcolm Brogdon is going to be a big-time hit on that team for losing him over to the Indiana Pacers. Giannis, Brook Lopez, we finally lost Mirotic. It's like Chris Middleton, we don't know what to get out of him. Wesley Matthews should definitely be good playing off ball, but ultimately, I don't know, man. We're going to see if the Bucks, we're going to see if just Giannis coming off an MVP season, reaching that next level as a player, if that will be enough to keep the Milwaukee Bucks in contention for an NBA championship, guys. But that is the end of the video. Definitely a long one right here. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Give me your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.